But they were, all of them, deceived, for another D&D was made, in the land of Washington, in the fires of Mount Renton. The Dark Lord Perkins forged in secret a master D&D to control all others. And into this D&D he poured his cruelty, his malice, and his will to dominate all life. One D&D to rule them all. D&D is the one. D&D 1 has been announced, and I'm not gonna do what everybody thinks I'm gonna do, which is just brag that there's a video out where I literally correctly predicted everything, including the release date. I'm not gonna sit here and brag about how right I was, even though I was right about everything. Don't worry, I'm not gonna spend any time talking about how I'm always right about everything. And don't worry, I'm not going to link the video where I correctly predicted everything in the description below. D&D Unearthed Arcana 2022 Character Origins. A little snippet, a little bon tief, a little bit of a taste of things to come for D&D 1. When I was a history major, I sometimes did assignments the night before they were due. I would literally write a 15-page paper the night before it was due. And considering this 21-page little PDF, I think it kind of went a little something like this.
Guys, where's the playtest PDF? That was supposed to be done like a week ago!
Wait, what? All of that aside, though, the funniest thing in this is inspiration. Much like with contrast paints, the company said, fine, we're going to just thin your paints for you. If you're not going to thin your paints, we're just going to thin your paints for you, and then you'll have to use thin paints. With this, it's just, fine, we'll make you use inspiration. We'll make it a human trait. We'll even have it every time you roll a 20, you have to give them inspiration, and you have to use the thing. Use it! The game was balanced with inspiration in mind. We don't understand why all you dumb dungeon masters aren't using inspiration in your game. It's literally an important mechanic. And all you idiots who said, D&D is so hard. D&D 5 is unfair. You never use inspiration. It's ridiculous. So yeah, they threw up their hands and they're putting it firmly in control of the players. Because the players will be now the ones to remember, oh, hey, if I'm a human and I wake up, I get inspiration. Oh, hey, if I roll a 20, then I get inspiration. And hopefully they'll also remember that they can then give that inspiration to another player. Which makes humans, I guess, the buddy cops of all the D&D people. Because, like, now humans can just hand out inspiration every day. So it's just like... clasp the hand on the shoulder and be, hey man, you can do it. I believe in you. Inspiration. At least that's how it seems with the playtest rules. Of course, not everything was biscuits and gravy with the rules. The critical hit stuff didn't seem to be that play tested out. Yeah. Also, the children of different humanoid kinds, lazy booking. I mean, obviously, like, they just need, like, really in-depth rules for creating your own character in mix-maxing. Not mix-maxing. It's going to end up to be mix-maxing, but sort of mashing together two different options for humanoids. Because this is just kind of like, they're basically telling people, hey, just put a different coat of paint on it. Sure, you're a halfling and a gnome. But you only get the halfling traits mechanically. So we're just gonna slap a coat of paint on you, just like this is the DLC. This is DLC for cosmetic changes only when it comes to children of different humanoid kinds, and it's a little bit less crunchy than I think a lot of people are kind of looking for. Getting closer to the career path in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 2nd Edition. Backgrounds, influence, ability scores, which I loved the system in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 2nd Edition because it made sense that if you're in a career where you're doing something, then your stats would go up accordingly depending on like what you're doing in that career every day. And here, you just have the background, and it just increases your stats. And I don't know how to think about this, but it is getting a little bit closer to your stats are more about what you do, which, again, is kind of heading towards the more RP, improv-y type stuff, which I really think this edition of D&D is going to heavily lean on. Also, they reduced the price of some tools, and this was definitely for RP reasons. Tools always had like this weird thing where it was very much within the world where it's like, yeah, some supplies for artisanal tools are going to be super cheap, and others can cost like 50 gold. It's because mechanically they were all of different uses within the game, honestly. And plus, obviously it would cost more to have, if you're trying to think about this logically, it would cost more to have a certain set of tools than other tools. But they lowered the price for some and made others higher, so it's all just 15 gold for a set of tools, which means if you use one of the new character things where you get a bunch of abilities to use different tool sets, you would actually be able to start out at level 1 if you did a custom background, and you would have these different tool sets to use. That really puts it in my brain that they are really leaning in heavily on the improv D&D thing, where they want to have people to be able to do just more stuff. Because it is kind of a thing where it's just like, you can have all this stuff in D&D 5e, but it doesn't really matter that much if you have like different tool sets because there's limited uses. I think we're definitely going to see way better game uses for tool usages, especially with the crafter as a first level feat, when you can get proficiency with 3 different sets of tools. You can do faster crafting and stuff. So I think they're going to get a little bit more in depth with that. They're going to allow people to do more interesting things with the tools with the less input from the DM, which, is the biggest complaints out there, I think, from a lot of very vocal people. They just don't like how 5e requires the DM to actually, be a DM. So final thoughts after glancing it over. I think this new playtest thing, they're doing some things right. And by right, they're doing things that I like. They're focusing on inspiration. They're making backgrounds more key and important, and hopefully this might lead into a career system with D&D where you can see progression of your character based on what you do, and not on some nebulous thing of like, oh, because you level up, stuff happens. I don't know. As always, these are just my random thoughts from a poor, dumb person who could never actually predict everything correctly back in February about this playtest, including the release date. A person like me is never right about everything, but hey, I want to hear what you think. So let me know in the comments below what you thought of the new playtest material. If you haven't got it, I will leave you a link so you can go and check out the playtest stuff yourself. It's a 21-page article. It was handed in last minute probably, but you know what? There's some cool stuff in there, and there's some seemingly very badly thought out stuff in there too, confusingly. So, but hey, let me know what you think in the comments below.
Hoop is a shit. That was my big hit, the Hollywood life. Fill me with strife. I spent my cash. I was living in trash, charging $5